Dear friends, today is the first Sunday of Advent. Christ in the humdrum of everyday routines is the topic of our reflection. Brothers and sisters, each of us, in our own way, is involved in the daily activities of life. Much of our time we spend simply living in the ordinary sense of the word. Jesus, in today's gospel, refers to this daily life. He talks about eating and drinking, buying and selling, planting and building, marrying wives and husbands. Maybe in our day, Jesus will add working in the office, holding meetings, studying, taking the kids to school, going on vacation or picnics, watching a game or a movie, and the list goes on and on. This is part of life, and without it, life cannot go on. Life wouldn't make sense. Unsurprisingly, it takes up so much time and energy. Yet, in the reading of the gospel, Jesus warns that we should not be so absorbed in the normal routine of life that we never look beyond, that we fail to look at a deeper level. In that context of normal human activity, Jesus speaks of the day of the coming of the Son of Man. It will be the day when our daily life will be put into a totally different, deeper perspective. That is what I would call a divine, eternal perspective. This, I believe, is in fact the goal of Advent, to help us, you and I, to enter more deeply into the essence of what we live and do. That is, to have a deeper, eternal perspective. I remember that a few years ago, my younger brother asked me, why do we have to repeat the same celebrations and liturgies every year? For example, why do we have to light 4 candles every year? I think I gave him a simple answer akin to, because every year is a unique year. Obviously, he was not very convinced. After I became a priest and as the years went by, I presided over the same liturgical celebration several times. And so I came to realize that there was something very special about these repetitions. Let me give you a very trivial example to explain. We all know the corkscrew, of course, that household tool used to uncork wine bottles. It works with a fairly simple principle that follows the direction in which you turn the head of the corkscrew. If you turn clockwise, the corkscrew goes down. If you turn it anti-clockwise, the corkscrew goes up. So, with the passage of the liturgical times, we go forward, that is, we follow the clockwise direction every time we repeat a celebration, a rite, a liturgical act. We do the same thing as someone who wants to open a bottle of wine and taste and savor the good liquid that's in there. I mean, as we turn the head of the corkscrew, we repeat the same action. With each gesture, the corkscrew descends deeper into the bottle and the bottle cap, and the person gets closer and closer to the moment in which he will taste the wine. Thus, with each celebration, as we keep our attention on what is important, we too go deeper and deeper and closer to tasting the eternal perspective that the Lord brings to us. In this time of Advent, we look forward to Christ in 3 senses: His birth at Christmas, His coming every day into our daily lives, and His final coming, which, as He Himself put, we do not know when it will be, and therefore we must always be awake, alert, and ready. John Henry Newman reminds us in a homily for the season of Advent. He says, Advent is a time of waiting. It is a moment of joy because the coming of Christ is not only a gift of grace and salvation, but it's also a time of commitment because it motivates us to live the present as a time of responsibility and vigilance. This vigilance means the need, the urgency, the active and lively waiting. In order for this to happen, we must wake up, as the apostle warns the Gentiles in today's second reading. Brothers, this you will do aware of the moment. It is now time to wake up from sleep, because now our salvation is closer than when we became believers. Romans 13 verse 11. This is not to say that we must go about our lives with our heads in the clouds. Of course not. We must be completely immersed in our world with its various comings and goings. But at the same time, we must not be so absorbed that we forget the greater one who is among us, calling us and inviting us and asking us to relate to to Him in a very personal way. It is from that relationship that we can understand the essence of life. In reality, it is simply an invitation to be attentive to the divine depth in all that we live, say, and do. In fact, all our life, to be able to say every day with today's psalmist, let us go joyfully to meet the Lord.